You know, I kind of wanted him to have a dog. There was a video we saw in our live stream today where this guy barked like different celebrities, and he did an imitation of like SRK, of Amitabh Bachchan, and he did Hrithik Roshan, and it was like the perfect imitation if Hrithik Roshan was a dog and barked.
Oh.
Yeah, it sounded, I was like, wow, it actually had me in stitches.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah. I didn't hide the live stream, so if you want to find it and watch it, but anyway.
It's at the end of the live stream. Anyway.
All together.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Jabby Kuwait, joined by KIRK.
What's up?
We are watching nothing. We're talking about The Fighter. About Fighter. I thought it said The Fighter, and they took up The. It's just Fighter. It's always been Fighter, hasn't it?
It's always been Fighter.
I added in The Fighter. The. Starring Hrithik Roshan, Deepika Padukone, and Anil Kapoor. And it also has some additional dialogue written by Biswapati Sarkar. I thought I'd just throw that in there. So it's directed by Siddharth Anand. You might know him from such films as... Great job. Way to swing in there, KIRK.
I don't know.
War, Bang Bang. You haven't seen Bang Bang.
No.
It's great. All I'm saying is, we watched Pathaan, we watched War, I watched Bang Bang, so we are well familiar with his work. I think that my favorite film from his, it's either War or Bang Bang. Both of those were freaking fun. I am going to read the IMDb summary. Top IAF aviators come together in the face of imminent danger to form Air Dragons. Fighter unfolds their camaraderie, brotherhood, and battles internal and external. This has an 8.0 out of 10 on IMDb, which actually is fairly high for IMDb.
Yeah, that's much higher than I thought it was gonna be, but I reckon maybe people are riding high on the patriotism train on this one, because I'm genuinely surprised that it got an 8.
This movie had a lot of things going on in all the right ways. It was a lot of fun. It was just a lot. And I didn't love the movie. I enjoyed myself. I don't know that I would watch it again, but I can recommend it to friends if they ask me, hey, I saw that Fighter is playing in theaters. Should I go watch that? I would say, without a doubt, indubitably, yes. I don't know what indubitably means, but yes, go watch it. That would be the thing I say to friends, because it's a lot of fun. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. It's silly. There's very, very silly moments in the movie, and some that I don't think were intended to be silly. The overall experience of it is, that was cool. I had a good time. A lot of CGI, but it was fun.
I'm very afraid to say this because I know that there is one person who watches the videos, at least one person who's like, if ACHARA says it was fun, I liked it one more time, I'm gonna go shoot myself. You're welcome. I had fun. I liked it. No, I mean, I had fun. There were things that I liked about it, for sure. For me, my favorite moments had to do with the fighter jets, like all of the aerial fighting I really enjoyed. Shout out to my friend Lynn, who actually worked on a lot of that stuff. It looked great to me. It was really thrilling. It was exciting. I was like on the edge of my seat, even though it was very clearly, these are CGI airplanes. You guys, most of it's not real.
And Pakistan is apparently only 5 miles wide.
Is it?
No. That's the joke. There are things that happen in the movie where I'm like, how did he get there in time?
That's true. There was a lot of that. And there were things where I was like, hold up. How is this even possible? What is a physic? What is going on with this fight scene? Like some of the actual fight scenes, like not in the air, I did enjoy. But then towards the end, I was kind of like, this is turned into a cartoon, man. This is too much.
Okay, I am going to be as real with you guys as possible. I think that patriotism in India is much stronger than it is in the States. And that has been the case for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in a country that did not share that level of enthusiasm for its own country. Are we proud to be Americans? Yes. But the level at which I witness enthusiasm for one's own country in Indian cinema with Indians in general is on another level compared to what I witness just like in my own environment, in cinema, in school, etc. Yes, we had the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and we've got our Star-Spangled Banner, but it's like India's on another level. All that to say that when you see that level of patriotism in a film over here, it tends begins to look like a joke. Like when I watched American Sniper, I actually enjoyed it from a laughing perspective more than and being invested in the drama of it. American Sniper is so jingoistic, right, in terms of America, that I don't know how to take it seriously. And so I know that for Indian cinema, I have to like use a different part of my person, a different part of my brain when I'm watching that, because it's so strong that I'm like, okay, that's kind of par for the course in this type of film. You know, with certain Akshay Kumar films, that's something I have to be ready for, is a different level of patriotism than I'm used to in the West. Even more than like, if anytime I've watched an English movie, they're usually taking a dump on England. It's never patriotic, right? And so here it's like rah India all the way to the max. And when you think you've hit the top, it goes even further. There was this fight scene with Hrithik in the movie talking about India occupied Pakistan. And it's just like, yo, it's like, it's on another level, you know? Yeah. And I'm not dumping on it. I'm not speaking bad of it, right? I'm just commenting on being aware of it.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because when I was just listening to the more patriotic dialogues by itself, I was kind of like, in theory, this is quite patriotic. This is quite rousing. However, I got a little bit distracted and I couldn't really get into it because of the music that was underscoring so much of this dialogue that was like trying to tell me how I should feel. Now, most of the time that doesn't bother me. I've done other reviews with you and you're like, oh my gosh, I could just not get into it because the music was trying to dictate too hard what the director or what the filmmakers wanted me to feel. This time I really felt it. I was like, whoa, can we just let the characters talk and just listen to them? I don't need all this music back here trying to be all like, raw. I'm like, I want to feel that. Please stop.
So the summary of my feelings is I had a good time. I laughed when I was supposed to. I laughed when I wasn't supposed to. I had a good time. How about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun. I particularly enjoyed the airplanes and all of that stuff. And I thought Anil Kapoor's performance really elevated the material because everything he was doing, I was like, this is pitch perfect. This is about the level of gravitas that is needed with the appropriate groundedness to still make it feel like he's a real person in real circumstances. Whereas sometimes, I mean, I love Hrithik, but there were certain lines and I was like, oof. That's a bit much.
We're going to get into minor spoilers for the next minute or two. I just want to get some things off my chest.
Okay.
I thought that the visual effects was pretty good, but it did distract me a little bit. Not because the visual effects was necessarily bad, because for the most part they were fine. It's the physics of the planes that felt unrealistic because they were moving so ungodly fast. I know that these planes move fast, but the maneuvers they were doing, I'm like, I feel like some of these maneuvers don't really exist like this in real life in terms of just... It was just too fast. There was too much stuff happening. It was just like, so the movie needed to calm down sometimes. It was just a lot. Hashtag way too much sometimes, right? Yeah. And I understand that it's all designed with being thrilling in mind. That's the goal, is to be as thrilling as possible. I found Top Gun Maverick very thrilling, and it wasn't edited like that. The planes didn't move like that. I understand it's a different movie, but it does still feel inspired by Top Gun. I know India's got its own army. It's had its own army for a while. Maybe this film was in production for a long time before Top Gun Maverick was a thing. It's entirely possible, but it still, for me, feels like it's got inspirations from Top Gun, which is not a bad thing. It's fine. It's that when you watch Top Gun and you compare it to this and you look at the physics of the planes, it's just like one feels realistic, even if it's not, and the other feels very unrealistic. Then you have the scene with Hrithik and Anil Kapoor in the plane together, which the moment was cool, right? I liked the moment. It's just that when Hrithik crashed into the other plane and ejected at the last second, I'm like, you guys are right above this explosion going on. How are you not dead? Like, you're so close to it, you know? And then there's a fight going down on the ground at the enemy base camp, and this guy's getting his teeth kicked in when he's trying to say Jai Hind. And Hrithik somehow treks 200 miles on foot to get there. And I don't know if it was 200 miles, but it's like, who knows where he landed? when he parachuted, right? To catch the guy's foot. That guy is just standing there with his foot in Hrithik's hand the whole time, waiting for bro to say Jai Hind.
I know, that part I was kind of like, I knew it was coming too. Like when he was stomping on his face, I'm like, Hrithik's going to come in here and like grab his foot. The next part, I could not have anticipated because I was not expecting it to just hold on Hrithik's face in a close-up as he's holding this foot and he's like, come on, say it. And then they wait. As if the other dude was just gonna hang out there with his foot in Hrithik's hand and just like, go ahead, bro, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And then Hrithik like proceeds to flip him like he's nothing. There were so many butterfly twists in that fight. I was like, what the hell? Calm down.
I will say that the movie surprised me in terms of the plot because I wasn't expecting Hrithik to be taken out of the game like that. They set him up as this guy who's super badass and doesn't really make mistakes. Like when he had the test thing with Anil Kapoor, right? And Anil Kapoor was targeting him and then he did his like little maneuver to fly back and then got Anil Kapoor during the test run. That is opposite of Top Gun.
However, it was a mistake. I disagree with you there because I feel like they were showing us that he does make mistakes because he is this very impetuous guy who's more concerned with getting the other pilot rather than staying on mission. So he failed that mission because his mission was to protect the helicopters.
Okay.
And he did that earlier on with his fiance.
Right. That scene also was weird to me. I'm just going to put that out there. Didn't get it. It's like I'm not even going to try to understand. I watched it. I'm like, okay, she died. That's all we needed. So it's just that the way they showed it, I'm like, is that the rules of engagement for the Indian army? That doesn't make any sense to me. I was taking that as that's just the movie doing a movie thing to make sense of the plot.
Yes.
He's got this backstory that they needed to have for the function of this thing now.
Although I will say that Anil Kapoor's speech when he reveals that he is in fact NJ's brother, I was like, oh, wow, what a scene.
Mom and dad had a baby really late after Anil.
I know. They had an accident baby, and it was his younger sister.
Well, all this to say, I was surprised at the way the film went with taking Hrithik out of the game, where he was kicked out of the team, and then he goes and he's teaching for 40 days, I guess, while his comrade is kept in Pakistan hostage. And he decides he's going to quit until he's forced to come back. Like, that whole thing caught me by surprise. I was like, okay, well, he's got to come back into the fight. And so
yeah,
after that, I wasn't surprised.
It was kind of like they did Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick in one movie.
Yes.
2 for 1.
Yes.
That's what happened with Hrithik.
The scene where Hrithik is talking to Deepika Padukone's parents had me in stitches. I was laughing. And I realized what the problem was. It's twofold. It's the music and the editing. Because what would happen is, as Hrithik was saying, it's too bad you're saying it's not your daughter. Because if it was your daughter, you'd be proud because of this reason, this reason, this reason. And every time he said something, in between his sentences, it would cut back to the parent, back to him, back to the parent, back to him, to the mom crying, back to him, back to the dad, back to him, back to the mom crying some more, back to him. And I'm like, this editing is like on crack. It's like, this is some real editing going on right now. Like editing with all of its life and glory, like a fighter. And every time, mom had nothing to say, just crying. I was laughing so hard, and the music was going into a crescendo. I wasn't the only one laughing. Indians around me were laughing. I'm like, okay, we all get this, right? Like, this is funny. This is okay. I'm not just being the ignorant American here. Like, a lot of us thought this was funny.
Yeah, okay. I felt okay to actually say this because, even on our live stream today, people were like, yeah, the consensus is that the dialogue was kind of wacky. Like, it was cringy, it was cheesy. I'm like, is it really? I wonder if we're going to really feel that since we're not Hindi speakers. But I think it is like just the way they really wanted to underscore it with the music to like make it really patriotic and let you know that this is important. And it's like, just let them say the lines because they could be delivered in a good way. Because The movie that I instantly compare this to, and I can't help myself, is Uri. Because Uri. It was around the same time, similar type of vibe, very patriotic. But there was just something about Uri that was like rousing, you know? Whereas this, it was like, check me out while I say this dialogue that's supposed to be really powerful and patriotic, and then sometimes it's like, yeah, that didn't work.
Uri was not concerned with being sexy.
Exactly. That's the difference.
This film was very concerned with being sexy.
Yeah.
Both were very patriotic. This one was concerned with being sexy.
It was sexy patriotic.
Too much sexy.
Too much. Tone it back. You have Hrithik. It's okay. You don't have to have him in a shirtless music video every time, but I did appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Deepika was very pretty. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what I did?
We are still going.
No, I just wanted to say one last thing that I did appreciate. I appreciated that the character of Bash, who died in the camp, I appreciated that he was Muslim, and I'll tell you why.
They have to do that. They always do that. In Indian films, they do that all the time. It's to balance things out.
Yes.
But I didn't care. I saw that, and I'm like, I know why you're doing this. I get it. They do that every single time. It's just as patronizing to me as when you have crime or an event happening in American news with an Asian person. Who do they send? An Asian news reporter. If a black crime happens, who do they send? A black news reporter. Every single time, that's what happens. Don't know why. When the whole thing went down with Jonathan Majors getting his trial, whatever, and it was sorted, he got guilty here, not guilty here, they had a black news reporter talking about it. It's always. And that's why I was like, it's fine.
No, okay, fine. Do you know why I like it though?
It's showing that not all Muslims. It is demonstrating that not all Muslims are bad.
Well, there's that, but on another level, it's showing that the problem is Pakistan, not the religion.
The film made a point to very clearly state that, overtly state that, you know.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that I said that then.
No.
It was so obvious.
No, the film overtly says it. Like, it's not the people. Make sure not to hurt innocent people.
Right. Yeah, they said that a lot. Yeah. No, I appreciated that, though. I think it's important to remind people that it's like, okay, it's not the people per se. It's the government or whatever, you know?
I agree. I think my biggest thing with this film was it's a time pass. And it's not something I can come back to. You know, like 12th Fail is a movie I can come back to and watch again and study and want to get more from. Even films like Mad Max, it's not really a story. It's just an action film. But it's so well done, I gotta keep coming back to it. This was done in such a way where I'm like, okay, that was a movie. Start, middle, end. I'm done. I had my experience with it. I'm good to move on.
Yeah.
It was so frenetically edited, and the acting was so over the top sometimes. Everything was so over the top in a way that I can really only do the one time and enjoy the one time, and then I'm done with it. I wish that this was the kind of film I could keep coming back to, and it just is not. That's the thing. So, was it enjoyable? It was enjoyable. I had a good time. I had good laughs, both intended, some not intended. And that's the feeling at the end of the day. I think that I enjoyed Pathaan more. I enjoyed War more than Pathaan. Bang Bang more than War, probably. I don't know the exact order between War and Bang Bang, but I know that I enjoyed those more than this, and I enjoyed Pathaan more than Fighter. So, and it's just because I felt like I was getting more out of those movies, more substance. And it's like the further along he goes, the less substance I'm getting. That's the one alarming thing with this particular writer-director that's concerning me. I hope that he finds a happy middle ground towards substance some more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I am Jabby Kuwait. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.